Electricast.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? Well, with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills. Wait, did I say job title yet? Get started today and see how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
Hold on to your butts.
We are changing the course of history as we see it. That is what Wesley demands.
Now this affects Iris. Iris, where are you?
What you feel only matters to you. I do not entertain hypotheticals. The world as it is vexing enough.
Iris, I have a tip for you.
Don't take drugs!
Or Whatever Movies with Wesley and Iris.
What up, and welcome to Or Whatever Movies. I'm your co-host, Iris, and I'm here with my older brother,
Wesley. And today we are discussing a movie from 1983, War Games, directed by Iris's boy,
John Badham.
John Badham. After directing Dracula, went on to direct War Games.
Which Dracula?
Frank Langella. Iris is a Dracophile.
Is that a thing?
Dracophile? Sure.
I am indeed, but we're not here to talk about Vampire Month coming up at orwhatevermovies.com or wherever you get podcasts in September of 2025. We're here to close out summer at Or Whatever Movies with War Games.
Dedicate this review to Michael Madsen. May he rest in peace. We saw here his very beginning and recently his end.
And a special request of listener
Sean Fanton.
What up, Sean?
He requested Defending Your Life.
War Games is relevant to Defending Your Life because in War Games everyone's about to die?
No, relevant to today's times.
It's relevant to today's times in the sense that War Games is a comedy.
It is kind of a comedy. So do you know that this movie was originally being directed by Martin Brest, who left after just a couple of weeks because the studio found that his was all too serious? Matthew Broderick and Ali Sheedy, even while they were breaking into the computer to change her grades, were all dour and serious. And they're like, this is not fun at all. They said, please make it a little bit lighter. He's like, oh, okay. And then still did his dark, edgy thing. And they were like, I'm sorry, you're fired. Brought John Badham in. So Martin Brest is like, F you guys, and went and directed Beverly Hills Cop instead. One of the most irreverent movies about a serious subject matter ever.
Sounds like he just had an idea for War Games and he couldn't pivot. Like once he was, what did they call it? Locked changes? Once he went all locked changes on War Games, he just couldn't see it differently.
I did not see War Games differently in this viewing because I had never seen War Games at all.
Me neither, Wes. I think this is the first time ever that we both haven't seen a movie favorite circa the 80s.
Nope, this
together.
Is the second time Sean Fanton is bringing out the ones that we've never seen. In Defending Your Life, which we weren't even really aware of its existence. And here we are talking about War Games. Maybe takes the top spot as my biggest blind spot of the 80s.
It might have predated you just a touch. In 83, you were what, 7?
Yeah.
And you didn't have an older sibling forcing you to watch movies.
Right? But I have a memory of going with Mom to the theater to see E.T. 1982. But maybe the 80s started for me, around 85.
Just in time for Matthew Broderick's big breakout role in Ferris Bueller's.
Ferris Bueller showed up a few years later. Ali Sheedy would soon go on to The Breakfast Club and later also with John Badham to Short Circuit. And for goodness sake, Strickland is there. Jesus, didn't that guy ever have hair?
Not only did Strickland make a cameo, but he also accused Matthew Broderick of being an underachiever.
See, that's just rough sketches of the Strickland character. But I see echoes of War Games in so much. There's Ferris Bueller in there. There's 2001. His name is Dave. The HAL-style computer voice. It's talking, I'm afraid I can't do that, Dave. Echoes of this in Stranger Things with all the secret government agency stuff.
Well, pre-echoes, like from Jurassic Park, where after careful consideration, the computer program sucks.
10 years later in Jurassic Park, even they still have to be at the terminal to access the control grid of the park. And Matthew Broderick Ferris had the internet before the internet. He originated this tapping into the school computer system by putting the phone on that speaker thing. How does he do that?
This is what I'm saying. Isn't David just young Ferris Bueller? I mean, doesn't this character go on to be Ferris Bueller? Did you not see how childlike Matthew Broderick becomes when his parents are congratulating him on his good grades on his report card? He's practically going...
There are definitely elements.
Weird.
Yeah, it is very weird. This movie achieved the impossible because remember I said, can you picture Ferris Bueller in high school? And we did. We see him where he insults the teacher to his face. Can you give me an example, you smartass, of asexual reproduction? Or when it was first mentioned, he's like, by your wife or whatever. And I was like, that's the most, wow. That's some Ferris Bueller level defiance right there.
Yeah, that's our only glimpse that we will ever have of Ferris Bueller as a high schooler in high school. I do know, I wonder at what point John Badham replaced Martin Brest, because there seemed to be weird tonal things happening at the beginning of the movie, which I assumed were shot in order sequentially. Like, did you notice that in this very regulated government facility that our two launch technicians or whatever are entering, that there's a giant sign right next to their like bunker? Did you see that sign?
Yeah, no urinating.
What?
You're urinating forbidden in this area or something?
Yes, and it was so weird. And I was constantly thinking, until the introduction of the Berenger character, the general, until his introduction, I didn't know what this movie was.
The pre-scroter?
You're talking about from Short Circuit?
Yeah.
Until his entrance, I didn't know that this was a comedy. And then it was confirmed. And it really is Berenger's movie.
It does change tonally for sure. There was something that John Badham did. He changed the film stock, maybe even the shutter speed. It looks different. And so maybe that might have bumped for you, subconsciously. But there were definitely differences in this movie. It was stitched together, Strawberry Fields Forever kind of vibe.
What does that mean?
Strawberry Fields, The Fifth Beatle, George Martin, stitched together two completely separate takes in separate keys. It starts kind of bubbly and in a different key, and then it noticeably changes in tone, gets a little bit deeper and slower in the middle of the chorus.
Weird. Okay. Well, not surprising that a director would come in and make it their own. They were just weird decisions, not only tonally, but also performance-wise, that I was noting as I was easing myself into War Games.
Given the seriousness of the tone up front, do you think Michael Madsen subjected, without his knowledge, to a psychological test to find out if they would actually launch when given the command? Did he have real bullets in his gun?
No, I assumed that because that was a known test, that everyone except for the launch operators were in on it. That if they have an assigned sidearm, that it would have been purposely unloaded to just see if they would carry out their duties. I did think it would have been even more dramatic of a cold open, which this was a pretty dramatic cold open, if they had cut on the pulling of the trigger or the cock of on the hammer clicking or something like that, to say that these two men were really different. One was willing to follow through with their duties and one didn't have what it took. That's what I would assume. Otherwise, that would be a pretty dire consequences for a simulation.
I guess it set a tone, but then we shift. David doesn't show up for 15 minutes and then completely dominates the movie. It's probably the definition of a cold open.
Definitely. and a good tone setter for what to expect, because as funny as War Games may try to be, I get squeamish about this stuff. It feels a little bit too real.
Does it still feel too real given how obviously dated it is?
What makes War Games dated for you?
Well, shall we play a game? I have a game invented by Kelly Ray regarding war games. This is the Paloma game.
Okay.
Kelly Ray suggested that we sit Paloma down and show her a picture of several items, like frames from this movie. We can put on the screen the rotary pencil sharpener at school. Would she know what that is?
You know what? She does have her electric pencil sharpener mounted on the windowsill next to her craft table. But I was looking at that pencil sharpener and I was like, they really don't make them like they used to. That thing is probably still on that wall somewhere in some building in Seattle.
For sure.
Like, that thing is going to last forever. It's going to survive nuclear holocaust. People are going to be sharpening pencils 1,000 years from now and being like, boy, those people back then.
What if Paloma saw a card catalog?
Oh my gosh. I was thinking, libraries are much more democratic now.
I don't know what that means.
You don't have to go through the whole card catalog thing and have a librarian pull your book from some complicated Dewey Decimal System something. Like, the girls literally go every week and pick out their own books and then check them out with their own library cards.
With physical books with their own hands?
Yeah, dude.
Maybe she would know some of this stuff. Would she understand what a payphone rotary dial is?
No, and she will never experience the joy of hacking a public phone.
If you handed her the tearaway strips that come on the sides of the dot matrix printer paper, would she know what they were?
Oh, the perforated edges that you have to carefully rip off? She wouldn't understand their utility, but she would probably think they were cool and make some craft out of them.
Man. Okay, we got a lot of stuff to get through. And as such, we're going to conduct the rest of this discussion
interview style.
Are you ready? Did they show Ferris shirtless to show off his pecs or to demonstrate his innocence and vulnerability?
Either way, it was definitely a Timmy Shammy revelation moment where I'm like, oh, Matthew Broderick is a boy. I guess if I had to say one way or the other, it would be to show his boyishness and vulnerability. And, that he's just a kid. He's at home and he's comfortable and he's probably on a bender or whatever, trying to crack the code or whatever he was doing at the time. I think he was trying to find the password, right?
Or he was trying to call with a specific tone every phone number in Sunnydale or wherever they were.
That's right. I have a Ferris question for you.
Okay.
Was the slight on Mr. So-and-so's wife all a ruse just to get called to the principal's office so that he could find out the next password?
That's genius. It's very bold, very Ferris Bueller, but also this movie was supposedly called The Genius, about a Stephen Hawking level character. Matthew Broderick is supposed to be very, very smart, well beyond his years, so that he would stumble on military secrets and get in the middle of these war games. So that might be the case. Otherwise, it's pretty stupid to insult and embarrass your teacher. Like, that doesn't get anyone anywhere except to the principal's computer where he knows where the passwords are kept. Very interesting. Back to my questions. What was the most important lesson you learned? Did you learn anything new from War Games?
I learned that 41 is pretty old.
41 is pretty old. He's pretty old. He's 41. And then I think under his breath, he's like, my dad is 45. Or she said, oh, that hurt.
And then she's like, what did she say? I swear to God, she said something like, we get really scared when he's sick.
Oh, God.
Like, in his fragile old age, if he gets a cold, he's going to croak.
Too close. The best technical lesson I learned from War Games is how to butter corn. That was a genius corn buttering method.
The one thing you take away from Mr. Lightfoot is how to butter corn. It's a waste of white bread, Wes.
Nope, it's good. White bread comes with, when we go to Gus's Fried Chicken, they give you the chicken and the sides, and then for some reason it's resting on white bread. That's like a Southern food thing.
Interesting. It's just a grease catcher?
Yeah.
Butter spreader?
Speaking of Grease, Eugene from Grease was Melvin, one of the computer nerds.
That was kind of a stretch, Wes, but yes, I did notice Melvin, and he's the one that puts him on the path to finding the password to the back door.
Yeah, but he also, then the other guy tells him, if you want to find out how to hack into WarGames, you got to talk to the guy who designed the program. Isn't that like Hacker 101? Did Matthew Broderick need that information imparted to him? He's a hacker. He's the genius. Doesn't he know that?
He was just too close to the problem. Sometimes you need that perspective.
Okay. So you're a woman. Does any woman stop by the house of the dude that they're interested in, all busted and sweaty? That's like Ellie from Up. She's just like all tomboy or whatever.
I think all of her exercising may serve a purpose, and that is to show how athletically superior she is to her nerdy boyfriend who can't swim. I think we're kind of leading up to that moment. You know, she's the jock and she's ready to swim 3 miles, and he's like, I can't.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso Virtuo Coffee Machines. Ready to enjoy the bold flavors of barista-quality Nespresso iced coffee at home? Simply fill a glass with ice and press the brew button on your Virtuo Pop machine to enjoy rich double espressos roasted to stand up even when chilled. Refreshingly bold iced coffee. Refreshingly easy to make at home. Visit Nespresso.com to shop now.
It's the Smucker's Uncrustables podcast with your host, Uncrustables. Okay, today's guest is rough around the edges. Please welcome Crust.
Thanks for having me.
Today's topic, he's round with soft, pillowy bread.
Hey.
Filled with delicious PB&J.
Are you talking about yourself?
And you can take him anywhere.
Why'd you invite?
And we are out of time.
Are you really cutting me off?
Uncrustables are the best part of the sandwich. Sorry, Crust.
The bigger question I have about Ali Sheedy is, do you come up to the computer nerd's house when he's like, come up, I'll show you? Like, that's a line if I ever heard one. And a creepy one at that. And then they get into the bedroom and she's like, where are your parents? And he's like, they're not home. They both don't work. And you're like, ew! That's the moment where you turn around and be like, all right, I'm going to come back another time.
Yeah, but he was all scrawny and Jack Dawson and she could have kicked his ass. What did she have to fear from baby Maddie?
I don't know. I was getting minor creep vibes, but I guess they're just high school students and innocent and stuff. But I don't know. My question was not about her showing up all Jane Austen style. My question was why she would be so willing to trust this computer nerd.
I didn't get creepy because he was so baby-faced, but to your earlier point, Dabney Coleman, Mustache Man, definitely believes that David is manipulative and dishonest. But I kind of believe that because I was in this Ferris Bueller mindset where I felt like David was always a step or 3 ahead. But when they actually catch him, it felt like an act when he was the hapless kid who got all up where he didn't belong and he's all innocent, you know, when they go and stick him in the room.
Yeah, the fact that he was a bad actor was what helped his story. That was necessary for them to go all crazy on him. He doesn't know... I believe that he didn't know how to best communicate in order to get himself out of this situation.
But then he gets himself out of that situation by MacGyvering the lock code.
Which was awesome, by the way. But my point is that I didn't go down that road because it just would become a different movie. You're talking about if suddenly we were introduced to the fact that he was a double agent. Like, that's just a different movie.
It's true. It just felt like he was innocent Dave and then conniving, manipulative Ferris Bueller is what I struggled with basically for this entire movie.
I mean, his mom was a real estate agent, for goodness sake.
Right? It's absolutely true.
It was mind-boggling.
Yeah, very weird. And so then was he acting when he does the worst ever pontificating doomsday monologue, like the horrible soliloquy? Like, I wish I didn't know about any of this. I wish I was just like everybody else in the world. And there's like the strings come up and I was like, oh man, it felt so fake. It was like he was trying to justify everything that was happening to his would-be girlfriend.
I think you're just giving him too much Ferris Bueller credit. He's a kid. He was just a kid. I think he was really wrestling with the weight of his own guilt, you know, that he did start this. Whether unknowingly or not, it was his fault. He was feeling the weight of humanity on his shoulders at that moment, Wes. Give the poor kid a break.
But he was in control of everything that he did on his end. He just didn't know that Joshua was going to go all Skynet on him.
He didn't even know Joshua was Joshua. He thought it was Polygon or whatever. He thought it was hacking into the Sega Genesis.
The game that he was looking for. He just wanted to play video games like all slackers do.
He must have been a really serious Galaga player. That was Galaga, right?
One of them was Galaga, yeah.
I think he was playing Galaga when he had to look at his watch and for some reason had it in his pocket.
Well, yeah, you can't let your watch inhibit your Galaga wrist flexibility.
And then I did think back to that moment, like, was that like his secret agent watch?
Oh, man. Ferris Bueller, kind of known for his technical proficiency. He can't play the clarinet, but he can manipulate the computer system at the school. He can program his keyboard to play puking sounds and stuff and the snoozing sounds. He's good with all that stuff. And yet Matthew Broderick didn't even know how to type for this movie. Had to learn how to type. They delivered a Galaga cabinet to his house so he could practice for weeks to look reasonably proficient on screen for war games.
No way. I mean, how early was this in his career?
Pretty early. I mean, he was only 19, 20. He's got this Michael J. Fox, Ralph Macchio Eternal Youth thing, but it was before Ferris Bueller by about 3 years when he was supposed to be a high school senior. He wasn't a child actor. I can't imagine him being any younger than this.
According to his IMDb, only 2 credits predating War Games.
I heard there was some tension on set. It might have been because of the director shift and trying to get the movie made. Did you feel any chemistry? Supposedly, they really beefed up Ali Sheedy's role as Jennifer in this movie to insert her in scenes that she wasn't scripted to be in because of their chemistry. And I felt a distinct lack of chemistry. I mean, they were bubbly, fun, smiley kids, but did it feel like they had a connection to you?
I think when they say chemistry, they don't mean between the two of them. Just that Ali Sheedy herself had this juvenile magic about her. I think it was the Ali Sheedy chemistry.
At the end, he smooches her, I think, like 3 times, and she doesn't really kiss back.
They never kiss on the lips, as far as I could tell.
That didn't feel weird to you?
Yeah, no, I didn't get chemistry vibes from them, but I did think that they made a good duo, and I was glad that she had a bigger role. I was really, really glad that the assistant went from chewing her boss's gum, which was just and dated, to, her, she was actually calling out the codes and totally in the mix by the end. I appreciated that.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about, is it like a bummer or like too heavy to talk about what this movie means?
So this plays nicely in a timely way into the early 80s fears of nuclear annihilation, the paranoia around the Cold War. So that fits in. And Kelly was saying that the idea of nuclear annihilation would have been less of a concern half a dozen years ago. But if today, Russia, for example, looked on the screen and saw that America had launched all its nukes at them, do you think they would be like, oh, surely this is an error? There's no way that America and the people in charge would have their finger on the button, right?
What's the question?
And I maintain that Trump would never be responsible for nuclear annihilation because there's no money in bombing each other back to the Stone Age. Are the fears realistic? I feel like it would almost be a relief. You've seen those stickers.
What?
You know, the presidential campaign stickers. Kanye 2026 or whatever.
Yeah.
There's one that said giant asteroid 2028. Just let's end it all. Wouldn't it be kind of a relief if we didn't have to worry about the day-to-day politics anymore?
You sound like a pterodactyl flying villain right now.
I was like, why is there a dinosaur in this movie? But I don't know. Do we have the bigger picture fears of nuclear annihilation in place? I personally don't. If it happens, it happens. And I've always said that being blown to smithereens before your brain has an opportunity to process what's happening might be the way to go. Too dark?
I mean, you're not making yourself sound anything less like Falcon. I'm a bunkerist. My goal in life is to make enough money so that I can create my bunker, like that Julia Roberts movie style. What was that one where all the Teslas crash into each other?
Of all
at the end of the world?
all the people who had bunker movies, Julia Roberts had a bunker movie?
I tried to get you to watch it. The one where they're raining the leaflets from the sky, but it really is just a ruse.
I have no idea what you're talking about. It's because you have kids, dude.
That I watched Julia Roberts' End of the World movies?
Like you care what's going to happen with climate change.
Oh, yeah.
How stuffy is it going to be at Paloma's house when she's my age or whatever?
Yeah. You talked about Dracula and vampires at the top of this episode, and, a major role of monsters is to help us face our fears in a way that's indirect, right? We're very real fears, but in a fictional type setting. And I think War Games is pretty effective at, in a somewhat comedic sense, helping us to face some, or at least what are, for me, real fears. Do you know what a tumulus is?
Nope. I was like, did he say cumulus? I know what cumulus is.
The dad says, seemingly randomly, what's a tumulus? And she's like, I don't know. And she goes up the stairs. Do. A tumulus is a burial mound. This is like an indirect reference to the idea of total annihilation. It's a super scary concept. I mean, like Ender's Game style, like Mission Impossible style. But there's also all this commentary about what decisions we make as between machines and humans, and what decisions we have to make as humans. And it seems like Berenger's character's arc is that he's right. That isn't Berenger kind of vindicated in the end?
Sure. I mean, that's kind of a bleak outlook, but I think I understand what you're saying. That guy, Falcon, he was a Falcon nerd is what he was. But even he pulled like the Ben, what's his name, from The Big Short, the Brad Pitt character, where he's like, I'm going to fake my own death and retreat to the countryside and fly dinosaurs. But even he said, it doesn't matter. We're like 30 miles or something from the blast zone. We'd be annihilated instantly anyway.
Yeah, it was strategic. It was also probably a really great place for his garden where he, urinated to bring the soil to the right pH balance.
Oh, man. It's just practicality.
But all of that really heavy stuff aside, it kind of seemed like War Games' theme was just we and our whole system is kind of only as strong as our weakest link, right? This idea that if we depend too much on the Whopper, or if we believe too much Big Short style in something that just ain't so. That's the human failure in War Games.
So you're saying that even though there's real danger, you just kind of have to suck it up and keep going?
Kind of, yeah, and keep being human. What other choice do we really have?
Yeah, he'll do whatever he needs to do to keep trucking, right? He'd piss on a spark plug if he thought it would do any good.
Get the boy in there. And so what is it? What are we doing other than playing the game in the Matrix simulation?
Well, wasn't the Whopper playing the game the whole time? This is Kelly Ray's sticking point. The whole point of its existence was for the Whopper to run wartime scenarios, right?
Yeah.
Did it have to go through the demonstrations of tic-tac-toe, of the war games, of nuclear, total nuclear annihilation? Or whatever, to come to the realization that the only effective means of survival is not to play the game?
I mean, I got that it needed to learn, but I didn't understand why it needed to learn in something other than a full simulation.
Right? Dave and Jennifer, were they like Indiana Jones, where they didn't actually affect the outcome of the movie at all? If the Whopper was in place and was running game time Avengers Endgame style scenarios to find a way not to kill everybody, it would have come to that realization anyway, right?
Yeah, but not within time allotted. The tic-tac-toe was just the shortcut to this understanding.
What if it's human fallibility, passions, tensions run high, that is most likely going to get us to a place where World War III starts? Because despite the Terminator and Skynet and Sandra Bullock's The Net and everything, the Matrix even, that computers will use mankind to exterminate us and to take over, if the computers are left to run unchecked, maybe they will prevent us from killing ourselves.
Possibly. I mean, I guess that's a potential twist here, but it seems like the message or the moral here is that we have our places, that we as humans have our blind sites. Like none of the adults in the movie War Games had the ability to see Dave's character for what he was, right? And the machine has its blind spots because it's not human and doesn't understand the real life stakes kind of at hand. And so I don't know, is the solution, like with the very real threat of AI, that its purpose is to augment human understanding but not to replace it?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm literally ready to let computers take the wheel. Drive me to work. iHome or smart thermostats have saved more lives than computers have ever taken. Oh, air conditioning, it's the best thing ever invented. The computers keep where I am at a constant 72 degrees, and that's still too warm, but it's because that temperature is mandated by a human, not me. I would have it be colder. Computers would have it be colder. I'm ready. Let the computers take over.
And that's our discussion on War Games from 1983, available on, by the way, Wes, MGM Plus. I don't know why, but my phone can access MGM Plus through Prime Video, but the iPad can't. Something funky was going on.
Computers found a way.
This discussion, for when you want to revisit it, and 400 plus others are available at orwhatevermovies.com or wherever you get podcasts. That is also the location of all of the forthcoming Vampire Month movies coming in September and all of Halloween 2025 in October. We hope you enjoyed our summer series of movie favorites with some new releases peppered in, and this discussion on War Games. Thanks, Sean, for listening, and barring nuclear annihilation, we'll see you next time.
This episode is brought to you by FX's Alien Earth, the official podcast. Each week, host Adam Rogers is joined by guests, including the show's creator, cast, and crew, in this exclusive companion podcast. They will explore story elements, deep dive into character motivations, and offer an episode-by-episode behind-the-scenes breakdown of each terrifying chapter in this new series. Search FX's Alien Earth wherever you listen to podcasts.
Want to live better?
We've got a lot of work to do.
Join Chris Hemsworth in National Geographic's new Disney Plus original series, Limitless. Live better now.
I'm diving headfirst into cutting-edge science to uncover 3 powerful secrets to living better right now. The growth that occurs through any challenging experience is really what we seek.
Chris Hemsworth stars in Limitless. Live better now. Now streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu.
It's showtime.